Okay, that's how it looks.
Oh, wow, well done.
We're live, actually, yeah?
Oh, well done, well done, well done. Let's do this.
So for the guys that are watching, this is not Eric Mutiso. It's the better looking version. This is the upgrade.
No, let me tell you, me and my bro, the thing is, I've got the big nose. That's the differentiator, right?
No comment, no comment.
I've got the big nose, but it's okay. He's the famous one. He's the one in the media, so.
You know, the thing is, you guys, you both have got that same energy. Friendly, welcoming, easy to get along with.
Yeah, thank you, man.
And we'll talk about work and sales as well.
Yeah.
But I know we plan to do this. It has been raining cats and dogs, and finally it's settled down.
But you know, I'm okay with that because Nairobi is green. My favorite time in Nairobi is when Nairobi is green. Like, I'd rather Nairobi green, and I miss doing a podcast. Right? Nairobi is green. It's beautiful.
We're ready to go?
I've been ready.
By a compound Nikuba, we might as well do the podcast in here.
If you want to, I can.
It's insane. Can we drive around?
Yeah, and I can even tell you stories.
Tell me stories. Tell me.
Because I've lived here now 11 years.
So, by the way, I'm looking for a one bed. Do they have one beds?
They don't have one beds. They don't have one beds.
They don't want people like us, the single guys.
No, so the best single product is in this compound. It's a 2-bedroom duplex. What do you call it? The apartment at the
Duplex.
top, the high ceilings. No, you don't go. Penthouse.
We're going to penthouse.
Yeah. So I've lived here 11 years.
Okay.
In my family, you can't live, once you hit 24, you can't live in the house.
Hey,
it's a rule.
You know, that's very different for Windi culture.
Yeah.
Very, very different.
But I don't think my dad is kicking us out, turn right, because of anything. I think in our culture, you didn't sleep in the main house, right? You had the boma, sort of like the compound.
Yes.
And then the sons got houses next to. So I think in his mind, it's not that he's kicking you out. He's like, now go and look at, go
explore the world.
And explore the world, right?
Were you in Saints, by the way?
No, I was in Strath, the better one.
That Saints versus Strath equation and conversation has been there for so long. So you went Strath from junior?
No. So I started Conso. And then Strath left. It's because I want to show you, that was my first house. So when I got kicked out, I lived in that penthouse in this one.
Which one? This one is?
This block. It's called Daisy. And in Daisy, so up here, this one up here. And it was the coolest court. If you remember Melrose Place without the drama, right? Just without the drama, but with the drama. You remember the lady who got killed by her mistress?
Yes.
It was in Daisy Court 4. This was it. This happened here.
Really?
Yeah. And that night I had come home from a party in one of the houses. And when I got in, we all had a noise, a scream. We all came out. We said, did you guys hear that? Did you guys hear that? And then everyone was, you looked around and then, it was puzzled, like, that was weird anyway.
Right.
Let's go back up. The next day we all woke up, the cops all over the place.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
But in general, this seems like
it
seems like a pretty safe place. How many people live here? Like,
I think we're about 1,000 residents.
Easy.
Yeah.
So, 1 second, let me just adjust this. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to...
It's stopped in a very bad place though because of the cars.
Jump. Let me look at this. We'll just sit on it. Because of the mic, it was...
No worries.
Sorry about that. Okay, so, what I noticed is as well, is the signs are up, lights are up, security is tight. UN approved?
Yeah, UN approved. Yeah. And so I was telling you, I know this place intimately because my second job, but my first real job, was I used to look at investment opportunities. And so my guys sent me we'll turn right because I want to show you like the craziest houses, and then we can go into another section.
Nice.
So I actually saw this from like the beginning. And some of the selling points are actually what you don't see. For example, do you notice all the cables are underground?
By the way, that's one thing. I did not see any fiber cables.
Yeah.
I did not see.
So we've got like a really good like underground tunneling, you know, with wires and everything.
This thing is properly planned.
So so that's what one of the selling points. The guy was like, people don't notice that, but if you go around Nairobi, that's one of the things that spoils the visual aesthetic. So look at the trees, look at the bushes. The other thing was by law, you're not allowed to have like a walled fence. It has to be a live fence.
Really?
Yeah. So if you want to take down the bush, I mean, you can't. Then you have to sell your house.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it has that aesthetic.
And it reminds me of some suburb in Canada where, you know, there's no walls, but there's actually boundaries and people living there. It does not seem very much like Nairobi.
So turn left in here. It doesn't. It is Nairobi, but better. Like this is an enhanced. This is the best version of Nairobi.
Bro, this is dope, eh?
Right. So you don't have to be exceptionally wealthy. That's the other thing, right? So you see, like now, these are the courts, the houses.
Actually, this is pretty interesting, eh?
So you've got, it's really nice. Like it's like, and then in the center you've got a football pitch. So
you've literally got a football pitch.
Yeah, it's the center here, and every court has one of these. So if you look,
I think let me reverse.
Yeah, you can reverse out.
So this one has a.
Sorry about that.
No, that's fine.
So each of them have a football court, a football pitch.
Have you ever seen a 7-point turn?
You're one of those guys.
Yeah, this car's got a fat ass.
Yeah.
We're trying to keep it fresh with a new car every episode, but
okay.
So
this is nice.
So this is one block then, yeah?
This is one court.
This is one court.
So this is Hibiscus. It's probably the biggest sized house, 4-bedroom.
Okay.
With something. And then I'll show you now the.
So then it goes like there's flats, there's courts, there's like these different.
Yeah, because so the other pitch was that the way you build a community is you can't have all of you of the same economic strata.
True.
Right? You've got to mix it up. You've got to have the young kids, you've got to have the bachelors, you've got to have the bachelorettes, you've got to have the families. Right, and that's how it sort of meshes and melds and gels and
you've got a community center, you've got a gym.
Yeah, so I want to show you that it's got a basketball court.
Oh, this is so nice.
And then, so when I'm stressed, actually, the reason I've lived here so long is I can do the 2 a.m. walk.
That's, in fact, I was just thinking about, imagine a night, like just walking.
Yeah,
just,
I do it
you know,
all the time.
And you're relaxed.
I get upset in the house, somebody pisses me off, I just walk out.
Sasa, who's pissing Kevin off?
No, I mean, you never know. Like, it could have been an email, it could have been...
Ni Eric too, sindio?
Maybe, you know, sometimes it's him. I've gotten some of the craziest calls about Eric when I was living here. But you get what I mean? Like, you've got the anxiety, you've got the stress.
This is a good place just to be in nature
just
and
walk,
detox.
Yeah.
I appreciate
the air is fresh.
The thing that surprises me is that this is a 10-year-old project where this is now starting to become the norm, where people are moving outside Nairobi centralized areas, going more towards the outskirts, and having this sort of openness, this sort of freedom, getting away from the hustle and bustle.
Yeah.
Vish, what do you think of this place?
Amazing.
Amazing, huh?
Do you want to hear something crazy?
Yeah.
I moved, so when I was dating my wife, before she was my wife, actually enter this one you see also. This is like one of the older courts. So it's kind of like cool. It has like these orange lights. They've changed them. They just have these orange lights.
Yeah, the vibe of this place is so sick.
Yeah.
And it's the first midnight run we've done. We're still in your house.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
5-10 minutes inside.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh, because look at these ones. This massive.
Yeah. No, and the trees. Look at the bushes. No,
the same design with the court.
But now this is a smaller one, 3-bedroom, with an SQ. Right. So different type of dynamic.
Yeah.
So you find a lot of like, sort of more Western.
Kevo, utaniambia prices offline, huh?
By the way, it's not that crazy, and that's the story I want to give you.
Yeah.
So I'm dating my wife.
I've seen the red number plate.
Yeah, there's several in this court because it's smaller units. Then we've got guards everywhere. You saw how hard it was to get in. I had to give you
Yes.
like a whole procedure to this.
That which is again good security features.
So my children at 9 can leave the house and I don't care. They tell me we're at X house and I'm like, okay, who's that? I'm like, okay, right? Because we can find them on a WhatsApp group.
You got your own little. Oh, there's a WhatsApp group.
Yeah, there's a WhatsApp group.
Are there ever people shooting at each other in the WhatsApp group and you're just
Of course. But the big issue we have is Habanos.
Habanos?
Habanos is a club that is here on the bypass that the senator or the governor protects, and it makes noise for all of us, and it's illegal.
But then you can't do anything about it. So
No, you can, and you write to NEMA, but
So
I've lost trust in our government.
Tunanda.
Turn left, I want to show you the clubhouse.
The arc light, what is this?
It's now like a nursery school.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You have a nursery school?
Yeah, we have a nursery school. And then this is the clubhouse.
Whoa.
So go straight and then you can turn without having to reverse.
Vish, do you have a nursery school in your house? Check, this guy's prepping to do a run as well. This is Jama.
Yeah, so this is where the basketball court is.
Is it a gym?
This is where the gym is. And then we've got like conference rooms.
That's insane.
And then, so I've held meetings in here.
That is so insane. Oh, wow. Hey, guys, we're reversing. We're doing a 3-point turn in a basketball court right now. What is that?
That's like the solar panels. So there's some of our energy for pumping the water into the houses is using solar panels. And then that little house there is actually not little, is a 25-meter swimming pool. But because of security, it's
an indoor swimming pool.
No, it's not indoor. It's
outdoor. Just outdoor.
But in large communities like this, you really have to control the entry and exit of the swimming pool because of child deaths and whatnot. So there's always somebody stationed, then it's locked. Always locked. So I can't just walk in and swim.
But can you swim at night?
If I wanted to swim at night, I'd have to notify the guys that I want to swim at night, and they'd have to then tell me it's okay.
I'm friends with the wrong Mutiso. Bro, man, I'm calling you one Friday. Eric. I'm telling Eric, listen, I'm with Kevo today. Tonight are swimming. He's asking, what are you doing Friday night? Me and Kevin are doing laps.
I have an even better place to swim in this area.
Bro.
So that's what I was saying. So my wife and I, we get serious. We decide we're going to move in together. She says, Kevin, you live on Kiambu Road. It's too far. Oh, my God. I say, cool. I say, okay, where do you want to live? She says, I live in a better neighborhood. I live in Valley Arcade. We move in together. My culture doesn't allow us to even move in together. But I'm like the cool guy. I say, I'm going to do it. Month 1 at the end, I told her, sweetheart, I am not going to live here anymore. Send the landlord a notice right now that we are moving in a month. And then I found a place back in Fourways and we've lived there ever since.
So culturally, are they Waindi, Wazungu, Mwafrika?
We're mixed. And that's the other thing. And then the other cool thing is once you get out of the gate, right? Which we are now. We've got a little community of bars and barber shops and spa massages and a hotel. Right? Nice, so Kiambu Road is like this little gem. If you don't know, you don't know.
By the way, that's what shocked us. We were like, where are we going? This Kevo's maps are taking us inside Ukondani.
Yeah.
And when we reached over here, I'm like,
wait a minute.
I'm dumbfounded because I was not expecting this, man.
Yeah.
Hey. So that
so we live well.
Alhamdulillah. That's very good.
And I've lived here since all this. Remember I told you I was there when it was an idea. That's where they started this story. So I bought into it. I'm actually an owner. I bought into it. Yes. And none of this stuff was there. Like this was all empty.
Yeah,
this road was basically no lights. Like we were scared driving down this road in the beginning. right?
It's developed so quickly though, because you have everything. This is the one. Eh?
Yeah, when my people refuse me to watch F1, I come watch here in the morning. They switch it on for me.
You an F1 guy?
I'm a huge fan.
Which team?
I support Lewis Hamilton, not a team.
What's happening?
And I'm proud. No, what do you mean what's happening? It's Ferrari. Ferrari is messing us up.
It's the cars?
It's the car. Of course, it's the car.
It's not Lewis, yeah?
Lewis is... he's perfection. What are you saying?
Yeah, so it's like the Arsenal supporters, you know.
Am I. I'm an Arsenal supporter. What are you saying? Have you seen Arteta's movement of the ball? Arteta is a mastermind.
The two teams that are going down.
Going down. Consistency.
Can I be honest with you? I've always been a Lewis supporter. I think he's just had a run of bad luck with Mercedes, them changing the car, and then Ferrari. What exactly? Do you know what the intricacies are with the car? What exactly is happening?
Look, this is what I know. Lewis is a winner, right? He's got the pedigree. He's still within the hunger zone. I don't know if the money has changed him. Right, because the truth of the matter is this, and I saw you guys speaking about it.
Sorry to cut you short, bro. Where are we going for coffee? You know these areas.
Oh, so what I was thinking is we go to Gigiri.
So
let's turn left and we enter Runda and then we're safe.
Perfect.
Just the bypass, don't stop too long. But that's why I'm choosing we go this way.
So.
And move fast because of Bodas.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Okay, so you were saying about Lewis?
So he's got everything.
So sorry, we're going straight, right?
Straight, yeah. He's got everything it takes to be a champion. So the only thing that's lacking is either his car or his team, right? And I think he's learned how to structure a team well enough to optimize performance.
Correct.
So I think the car is the problem. And we can see, if the car was performing, then Leclerc would be performing as well. Do you get what I mean?
So both of them are sort of now, we're going straight, right?
Straight.
I know there's a turning somewhere over here.
Yeah. In fact, I'm surprised you don't know how to turn into Runda.
You know the thing is, I used to go USIU, so at that time, Garden Estate and all that stuff all of this is all new. None of this was here.
Oh man, so you guys don't even know good living.
What is the Runda Mall?
I'll even take you somewhere nicer.
These places. Vish, have you been here? Sisi ni watu wa South Sea. South Sea's finest.
We grew up in Langata. I'm sure Eric told you that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So sorry, we sort of pivoted, but back to the Lewis thing. Do you think that if they get their act together, he can basically stop going from the midfield all the way back into contention?
Yeah, of course. Give him that McLaren, he's going to be number one. You think Oscar is driving as you're turning in here?
Yeah.
You think Oscar is driving the way he's driving because he's not hungry? Oscar is hungry, right? Oscar has what it takes.
Correct.
But Oscar is not a better driver than Lewis Hamilton. Let's not bullshit ourselves. Verstappen is potentially a better driver.
Yeah, there's an argument.
I hate Verstappen, but I am not stupid. I can see that this is a talent of equal measure we're measuring against. But Oscar is not, right?
Do you think if Verstappen and Lewis were in one team, they would work?
Turn right.
Turn right.
Go straight. It's also okay.
There's a place.
Yeah. I grew up. These are my streets.
Kenya Police Service. We're safe.
So this is Runda.
Yes.
All the big boys live here. So down this road was Joseph Kinyo's house. So that's where they put the police post here. Joseph Kinyo was head of the public service in Kibaki's and Uhuru's governments.
Yes. Oh, sorry. The camera is just twisted down. We just need to adjust it.
So here it's okay. No one is going to harass us. Yeah, when he would say, my brother taught us a lot. My brother is very talented. You know how I knew he was going to be a genius for entertainment? Is one day we're hanging out in my bedroom and my friend Jazz Odongo, who, if you know, is a big deal in music, comes with a guitar. Jazz plays a tune. Eric takes the guitar and plays the exact same tune.
Eric can play the guitar.
Eric has a musical ear that is like if Eric had a chance to be Stevie Wonder, or who's Stevie Wonder's producer? Quincy Jones.
Quincy Jones, yes.
Yeah, like Eric is that level of talent in entertainment. That's why when he started his podcast, everyone was like, "Oh, hey." I was like, "Bro, no, go straight. This is a dead end. This is where that boss lives. I just told you." Yeah. Eric was telling jokes as a kid, like to the family. Like we would watch him tell jokes. Like that's how talented he is. He's so when he started, guys, it's like, guys, this is his calling. Yeah, and if he is able to fund it and get it going properly, you're never gonna touch this guy again. And I had Andrew Kibe saying this will be the biggest podcast in Africa, and I knew it. I was like, I saw it today, 0. Like,
no, it's funny how Eric and I connected. We went to the same school.
Yeah.
So I had left Saints. I'd gone to Nakuru and I'd come back. So I joined a new wave of students in senior school, and we were all sort of combined. Now the guys doing KCSE were in one sort of fraternity, one class segment, and the guys doing IGCSE were in a different one. And Eric and I it's weird, you know, we just had the same vibe. He was a nice guy. The first sip of pombe I had. But just we had that relationship where we'd always meet, we were always cracking jokes. Somehow the guy would understand my jokes, and we just vibed. Fast forward to this year, actually was it this year or last year? I get a random message from an Eric Mutiso. I'm like, because it was a weird name. His Instagram, Era Skipping or something.
Yeah, Era Skipping.
So I ignored it because I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Then I just said, let me just open it. This is like after a few days, and I'm like, hey Saj, what's up? Glad to see you're doing okay. I'm like, how does he know me? And then I open up his profile, and I was like, let me just follow back. And it's Eric Mutiso, man.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm also doing a podcast. Let's meet. And these are years apart, man.
His first podcast, turn right. He calls me. He says, I'm looking to do a podcast.
This is the one recently or the old one?
The old one. The old one.
Yes,
this is now he's mastered the craft.
Yeah.
So what everyone knows me for in Nairobi is I'm very well connected. Like I know a lot of people, just because I've been in the game now a very long time.
I stalked your LinkedIn.
It's wild.
I told you to accept. You're not accepted.
No, I probably did. I did.
Would you accept?
I'm telling you I did. I'm telling you I did.
Crazy following, bro. You know everyone.
It's not even, it's the wildest thing. So like I wasn't even marketing myself. I've been in that sort of space from the beginning.
So talk to me, because we are both in the tech space.
Yeah.
How did you get into the tech space? How did those dots come in? What was your first foray into it?
This is embarrassing. You're gonna laugh. So in high school, remember I went to a better school than you. In my high school, we used to have, you either do computer, French, or business. Turn left. And I didn't want to do business because in my mind I was like, what kind of business is a high school teacher teaching me?
Correct.
And that sounds arrogant, but my dad had already started buying me business books and like the Fortune magazine at like age 16. So when we were making those decisions, I was like, there ain't no way this guy's giving me more insights than Fortune, right?
Correct.
And tells you a lot about me even then. And then I thought it would make more sense to learn French because then it would give me West Africa if I ever grow a business.
You have access to Anglo.
And I could read and understand the nuance. And then comms was like for the geeks. Yes. And in my mind, like, because we just had this very, like, and Eric will tell you, like, our family wasn't like pro computers. In like like it was like computers are a gimmick.
Correct.
Do you get what I mean?
Which you can at that time
you can see how you can and especially if your parents are well-meaning but can't afford everything. So they're also managing expectations, right? So they may even believe comps are the future, but are like, if I start telling him this and
This
that,
will
man,
be
this
a
could be
gravy train that will.
this cost
Yeah,
could
cost-
spiral out of
yes.
control. Anyway, so I finished KCSE. In my family, we have rules. You either work or you go to school,
Yeah.
right? I think my dad just feared laziness, and so privilege, because I do have some. My grandmother's best friend was the CEO of an investment bank,
Okay.
and at the time, Kengen was having an IPO.
The IPO boom. That
2006 March. I completed high school in 2004, 2005. My dad sort of gave me holiday between that November break to like mid-Jan.
Yeah.
Mid-Jan, I was his messenger and driver. But I was looking for something more exciting. I'd always wanted to be in business. Let me start at the stock exchange. Got my shosho. My shosho calls this guy. This guy says, come at this time, at this hour.
Even Shosho was connected.
Yeah, even shosho's connected. I miss her to death. Mama Njoki, that's what we used to call her. And then I basically go for the interview. The guy asks me, do you know how to use a computer? That's his first question, Mr. Murigo. I say yes. Yeah, we need people to do data entry over there. Go ask that guy where he's going to put you. that was it.
That was it.
That was it. 3 months later, the IPO is over, and we're like hundreds of us, and they need to pick guys that they're gonna keep. I'm asked, do you know how to be an IT guy? I say yes. So they put me in the IT department. No one else wanted to be in the IT department.
You just.
So like 80% of everyone else got retrenched. I ended up staying.
Mind you, this is not like you have a bunch of IT knowledge, right?
None.
You
I
just
have
said yes.
Zero.
See,
I just said yes.
And that resonates so much with your personality just by telling you seem like a guy that does, you know? We'll do it, we'll figure the rest out.
Yeah.
We'll panga
Hapo
later.
mbele
Hapo mbele tutaona.
tutajua.
If someone asks you, can you do this? Yes, we can do it. We get the contract, then we figure out how to get things. We shouldn't turn this together.
I mean, you've seen, it's just straight, but you've seen how I live. I mean, it's okay.
Bro, I'm telling you, tukifanya tenders pamoja. Yeah.
But tenders are not where the money is, though. If you're good at execution, which I've now become pretty good at, with limited resources, you don't want to be playing in the government tender space because they're going to kill you. You want to play with the long-term players. You want to play with the richest cats in town, and you want to play with the richest people in the world. They appreciate long-term, they appreciate execution, and they appreciate quality. Okay. And they will pay you for it. Right?
So, circling back now, you sort of entered the foray, you're the IT manager.
No, I'm not even an IT manager. I'm an IT manager's assistant. Literally, you know what my job was? The HR manager's computer can't go on. Kevin, hello?
Literally, just
going. And then I go and I had one trick. Switch off.
Switch on.
Switch on.
Kijana unajua vitu. You don't know anything. Both of you are doing guess
Knew nothing.
That's where Lord Errol's is, right? So
left.
That's fine.
Exactly that.
Can we go to Lord Errol's for coffee?
Yeah, we can.
Will they allow us to film though?
I don't know, but let's go. I know I don't know if the new owner would remember me, but I know.
I was actually there. I took a mama for a date.
I wanted to show you a place called Gigiri Courtyard. They've got
no, I've been there.
Solograno.
It's the what do you call the melting pot of Kenyan culture with the UN cultures, India.
Well, it's so as somebody who grew up in the area, it's what Village Market was in the Northeast.
I've been there. So it's they've got steak places. You've got the
but then you've got like a young crowd that doesn't really fit in Nairobi because they're Barbies.
Can I be honest with you? A lot of them.
It's my dad. Sorry, guys.
Okay, no worries. Mutiso Senior is calling. We have to.
Yeah, we call him Don Dada.
Don?
King Cobra. Hi, Dad.
Niaje Dugu? Oh, you remember I came last week?
Yeah.
Yes, how are you doing? We're just here for coffee and then tunatoka, yeah?
Okay.
Thank you. Yes.
Habari ndugu. He saw me on TV. I was on TV tonight. So he's like, I saw you on TV, homie.
You on TV?
Yeah, I'm on TV
Is it
quite
about-
often.
Is it about the funding thing or?
No, that's an exclusive I'm giving you only.
Okay, sir, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
What was this on TV?
So Bodabodas, we had a launch of a report on the impact of Bodabodas in Kenyan economy. Turns out it's 4.4% of GDP. They pay 60 billion in taxes,
Jesus Christ.
and they create about 660 billion shillings in value.
This informal sector is, if you can tap into it and find out a way to make their life easier, improve the service, mass market, I think there's a huge potential.
That's what Oye is.
So we'll talk about that journey, but Sasa, if we get blocked, you'll do your gift of gab talking, eh? Of which, we'll just carry it inside, yeah? We've stopped off at Lord Errol's. This is the new owners are mates.
I think it's the new owners.
The food was not bad, by the way. I told you I came here last week, yeah? So we can't record inside. We're going to go and get a takeaway coffee and then we'll see you guys back in the car.
See you in a bit. Oh,
You were saying, bro, you were making
a bone broth soup. I told you I've got a 7-day-old in my house.
So bone broth helps with strengthening.
So it's for the mom, for
Okay.
breast milk, and so that she has got really good nutrients. And bone broth soup has.
When I have my first kid, I'm going to holler at you.
It's quite an interesting experience because
So bone broth, how do you make that?
you buy bones from the butcher.
Bones ya nini?
Yeah, they're of cow bones.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you
Fish, is this the one? This color's okay, yeah?
You don't need to plug it in, just put it.
then you leave it. You roast it for about 2 hours.
Yeah.
The bones. You roast the bones, salt and pepper,
And then
bit of oil,
Maji.
and no roast. So roast means you put
Oh,
them,
yes.
for like 2 hours, and then you throw them in a pressure cooker for like 6. And then at the end you just pick out the bones, and you got this beautiful gooey, tasty.
It tastes nice.
Oh, it's amazing! It's amazing.
But it's just for pregnant ladies.
No, it's
not
a
for-
hangover soup. It's highly nutritious. Yeah.
Also
And then if you do it with so what I do is I put chunks of ossobuco.
Okay.
Yeah. So that then after 6 hours the meat just drops. So your soup has chunks of soft, tender, flavorful meat.
Bro, that actually sounds nice, by the way.
It's amazing.
Hey. So at that point, for hangovers, it's a nutrient dish.
Yeah.
See, we monetize that, bro.
Huh?
We monetize that.
That's
We
a
call-
good idea.
We call it Mlevi meals.
No, the experience I had with my brother, I'd never work. It's one of those things I said I'll likely never have.
You know the thing is, I as Eric's friend, I don't realize, because I wasn't there during his the trials that he went through. For you as an elder brother, that must have been character development, right, for the family. But you live and let live, right?
You know, this is where I disagreed with Andrew Kibe on your podcast. That when he said that people just live for themselves, I disagree. I mean I feel bad for him. In fact, that's what I was like. Wow, what a lonely, sad guy.
This guy's lonely, yeah.
Yeah, because I come from a family where family is and you try to point it out like Mzee is your guy. My Mzee is my guy. My mom's
that's
my
the guy.
mom's got my back. In my mind it's like if family doesn't have your back, who does? Who does?
Who does at the end of the day?
So family is a safety net. I've grown up in a context where family is my safety net. and I'm proud of that.
No, and it's something that I hold true to
Let's
myself.
turn left.
Listen,
Yeah, let's turn left because so that we use a bit more
South.
of Runda.
So it's something that genuinely, if today something happens, the first person I'm going to call is Mamze,
Yeah.
right? It's embedded in me that if he gets into something, the first person he calls is us, his sons.
Yeah.
And taking that away from a person and taking that community that you build, I think
I felt bad for the guy and I heard him say that. And I could see how many Kenyans, especially African Kenyans, would say, I get that, because a lot of our dads are very traditional, conservative in a weird, strange way.
it's also how do I phrase it? A lot of families, a lot of Kenyan families, especially in the 70s and 80s, they were multiple kids. They were fathers with multiple wives in different cultures. So at that point, you don't have the same relationship you do with the 3 kids you have versus the 18 kids
No,
you
I
have.
disagree.
So maybe that made people a bit more independent because that didn't show them
No.
affection and love, right?
I think what happened was when we, and you could be right, by the way. I think what I'm doing is I'm sort of presenting a different perspective to a similar.
Sure.
So I don't know who's right.
Yeah,
Let me put that out there.
You're playing devil's advocate.
Yeah,
basically,
I mean, I'm playing devil's advocate, and I'm saying colonialism did its thing, right? So it stripped the African culture, and especially, say, the Kikuyu,
Yeah.
and the Kamba and the tribes that were along the trade route, especially,
Yes.
even all the way to the coast with the Digo. It stripped a lot of our sort of like deep cultural identity that made us, sort of explain some of the things.
Correct.
Right? Because we did have empires, and empires were built with family. The formula for building empire, for example, is the same across the world. It's family, it's then a following, and then it's high trust, right? So whether you're in China, whether in the US, whether you're in Africa, whether you are here 2,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, or
It's
now,
sort of a similar
it's
pattern.
a similar pattern. But I think what happened in like post-colonial children, so children who were born in the 70s to guys who were raised in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, there's a definition of what it meant to be a dad and what it meant to be family that was a little bit skewed, because they really didn't have like a solid grounding for that. So there was and then couple that with poverty, right? So these days I'm very, so I've sort of gotten a bit popular on my TikToks and whatnot. And one of the big things I get DM'd a lot, I don't know why they don't call me out publicly, but DM'd is like, you're a Barbie, like you grew up
Soft
with,
life.
you grew up with privilege. And I do acknowledge that I did, and I love that. Like, thank you.
You know what we call those haters on our channel?
Yeah.
Jugu motherfuckers. So, Jugu motherfucking guy.
Why?
Because these are the guys that, they think just because you're earning that, like, you've come from a soft life, it means you haven't gone through the trials of life.
But so I wouldn't even so I have a very different view, because privilege is a very interesting perspective, right? I don't know if you see, like, to not be privileged is wild. I don't know even how to say it. Like,
I mean, there's some people that are born, and for example, schooling the way we think. Where is that? Up ahead.
Yeah.
The way we think of going to school as cumbersome. Some people would long to go to school,
and especially the schools we went to.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
We grew up with parents who had jobs that could take us to KFC,
The scarcity mentality.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So that will exist in our society, but we have to have empathy for that guy, because that guy or girl doesn't know any better.
That's true.
They don't know any better. If you've never had somebody love you, that's why Andrew Kibe can say, yeah, no one gives a shit, about you. But that's not true. Like, I grew up with people who gave a shit about me.
Which is my question. Maybe, do you think it comes from a perspective of pain? where maybe he was thrown in the ringer, the people he wanted to count on most abandoned him, and so
Yeah.
that's why he's built
It's
up this shell.
it's a trauma response, and then he has to go through his own journey because you see, again, then it's also personal.
Just sorry to sidetrack. Runda is fucking beautiful, bro.
I want to show you. Yeah, I want to show you a little bit. I'll show you where my girlfriends live. Do you want to see all that?
20. We're gonna hoot outright
No,
outside.
I can never do that.
Episode.
She'll kill me. She'll kill me. She'll kill me.
Midnight coffee run. Look at this, man. This entire property.
So this is nice, but the one on the left is better. So the one on the left is exactly like Foe's, but these are 6-bedroom houses on half acres with the exact same sort of like design. Clubhouse, lake in the middle.
Lake in house.
Yeah, lake in the compound.
Man-made lake.
Yeah. It's very cool. This is it.
This is Runda Park.
Yeah.
Guys,
So my graduation, like, I want to move here.
You know what we need to do, Vish, is we need to have a camera as well, showing all these things as we go. But guys, let me just describe it to you. You know how when you go to a mall, there's a security barrier where you put a token. That's how it is for that residential estate.
Yeah. But once you're
the
in,
Askaris have TV in the guardhouse.
yeah. But so do ours.
There is a dick measuring contest, do we?
No, I'm just saying. I'm trying to say the gated community is a life hack.
It's a life hack.
It's a life hack. It's a life hack.
So I want to get back to now you malizaing, you becoming the IT go to guy for Tunanda left.
Straight. So this is the bypass that sort of takes you to Ruaka. So we're under it right now. And so we're going to the old side of Runda. This is Mimosa.
Careful.
This is where the original farm was sold from.
By the way, this should be the route for every midnight coffee run. This is
super safe.
This is great.
No one's gonna harass us. It's pretty nice.
It's pretty chill.
I wish I could tell you all my friends who live around, but the parents would shoot me. Even Eric's, a lot of Eric and my younger brother, because they were younger when we moved to this side of town, have actually very deep roots.
Yeah,
in this ecosystems.
Them growing, Eric. There was a few friends of ours that used to have bashes. We used to come to these sites.
Yeah.
Met Eric at a couple of them.
Yeah.
So take me back now to the working days, bro. You've become the go-to IT guy to fix up people's computers who don't know how to switch on after updates. How do you progress from there? What goes on?
So one smart guy who I love deeply, he passed away this year, the late Kanja Waroro. And if you know who Kanja Waroro is, he became famous because Uhuru, turns out he was one of Uhuru's best friends. And Uhuru gave this beautiful speech about him at his funeral, straight.
Yeah.
So he, at the time, was a single man.
Okay.
And he was my client.
This is now when you were at
Suntra Investment Bank. And he turned right. And he basically says, look, we've got this chama. So this chama is big bosses. They've got like 20 M in savings. And we're trying to do some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So I want you to notice. Do you notice what the cables do?
Bro. Overhead. Yeah.
The overhead cables. Like it messes up the whole vibe.
The vibe.
Yeah.
That's true.
And the trees don't then grow straight. Right?
But doesn't this, like, for picture Vish, look at this straight road.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I see what you mean, the structured cabling, yeah?
Yeah, anyway. So then I think he had a crush on one of our colleagues. She was a little bit older than me. I'd taken a soft spot for her. She kind of liked me, but she was 10 years older than me. So she used to sort of take me to places.
Yes.
Right? Like, because I was also like a bit of a simp. Yes, madam, I'll go, run, go do something, I was a bit of a simp, I won't pretend. But I mean, the guy thought I was smart because anytime we talk business, turn left, he would go we would have like a real debate. And I was very aware. I knew what's happening globally. I knew what was happening locally. I knew, and I understood the P&L, I understood a balance sheet really well. I understood what, I didn't have like my own thesis on what value looks like, but I had an inkling of what people perceived as value.
Yes.
And could sell it or could talk about it, in an articulate way. So he says, why don't you come and work for my chama? I'll pay you whatever, triple whatever they're paying. I was being paid 6K a month.
At that time.
Yeah.
This was when 2006.
Okay.
Was 6K a lot at that time?
It was nothing, man. I was still living at home. That's one of the first times I found out I was a Barbie. Because true story, turn left. I never knew I was a Barbie until that point. What happened was the casuals would get these taxis that would take them home. And so people would leave Eastlands. And so you'd sort of go 5 or 6 of you. But I always went to Kilimani alone. And at first I'm like, oh my God, no one lives in Kilimani. Yeah, one of my best friends lives in this house. My best friend, our kids are best friends. His dad, sorry. So we used to party here and went to school together.
That's it's a beautiful area.
Shout out Anto.
Beautiful area.
Yeah.
So you basically, you're going through the ranks,
No, so not even going through the ranks, I'm learning. So the CEO of Transcentury is part of this. The CEO of Stanbic Bank at the time is part of this. The chairman of Liaison Insurance, head of marketing, Safaricom. Like, these are the guys I'm working for. I meet them once a month. I pitch different ideas.
Yes.
And, I see what bites, I see what doesn't bite. They then design like an incentive scheme where I get paid on like a bonus if I'm able to do a good deal. So by the time I was
your networks are developed.
Yeah, my networks developed, my deal making skills are too. So by the time I'm like 22, I've set up a 60 million shilling real estate deal with a Muindi family. They want to sell because the old man is dying. He's like 100 and something.
Okay.
The kids have all moved to Canada, US, UK. The one guy who lives in Kenya doesn't really want the property to manage. He wants to live in his Parklands house. He's got his own kids. Right? Yeah, that's how we came. So 40 million debt. I negotiate the debt. I negotiate the equity. I negotiate the contracts. We do the deal. They sold that property in 2010 for 220 mil. So it makes my name.
It makes your name. You get you get your name out.
I get my name is like whoa.
Yeah.
And it's not famous like in the circle, like Kenyans wouldn't know who I am, but if you're in that circle of guys,
your name's echoing. Right?
Yeah, it's like, so I start building this really business deep focused sort of network.
Okay.
And then I leave tech. I get a job as a consultant. Because of that deal, I get a job as a consultant. And I hate it. In fact, I hate it so much, I perform so badly, I get fired.
Why don't you like, what made you hate it?
Because you didn't execute.
Sorry, Kevin, what's that?
That's how you go to the bypass.
Okay.
I didn't execute. With consulting, what you do is I come, I say, Sajid, you've got a great business, but you're failing here, here, and here, and here.
Correct.
And you need to improve here, here, and here, A, B, C, D. Now, if you don't do A, B, C, D, and you pay me $1 million, Bob, when the business is shutting down, you'll be like, I paid this asshole $1 million, Bob, turn left.
Yeah.
And
what's down there?
That's where we came from.
Okay.
So Runda Park's right here.
Runda Park, yeah, so we came from there.
Yeah.
There's an armed guard outside.
There are many. There's so many. We're in Runda, so Runda CCTV in like almost every third lamppost. So you don't see it, and it's like 360 view.
360 view.
It's pretty cool. Straight.
I wonder who's on the WhatsApp group.
My other very good best friend grew up down this road. Same high school also. Deep. One of my best friends to date.
So tell me now, consultancy was... I don't even know how I can hold this conversation, because every other house we're passing by, look at this gate,
Not even that nice. Let me show you nicer ones.
Okay.
Turn right.
Inshallah, one day.
One day. No, we're working so hard. I wish you knew. The guy who used to protect me from bullies lives down that road on the right. True story.
Bullies?
Yeah, in primary school.
Conso.
Yeah, when I was Conso.
Eh?
Guys used to bully me because I'm a Barbie. He used to come and he was 2 classes above me. One of the most senior investment bankers in the country today. Like guys wouldn't even know.
It's funny how life goes, eh?
Yeah. Probably the
One day
most
they-
senior investment banker in banking. Like he understands banking like crazy.
Bro, some of these houses are just...
So I get fired. But as I was getting fired, I'd already started planning my exit, which was weird.
How old were you at that time?
I was 23 at this point.
Okay, so you're still very young, eh?
Yeah.
You have a lot of miles under your feet. at
Yeah,
that
yeah.
point. Okay.
Yeah.
So you basically, what's your exit strategy then from there?
No, so I'd always said, so since I was 12, I'd always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And what had happened was I found a magazine with Warren Buffett on the cover page. And my dad had always wanted me to be a lawyer. So I was kind of that son who was always going to be like the lawyer that takes over the father's league law firm. You get what I mean? But then when I worked for my mzee, I didn't get that. That's a gate.
That's a fucking
That's
gate.
a fucking gate, right? Like,
You have a long way to go, bro. Yeah, but so yeah, I guess it's not some. So you worked from there. You felt that this is not
Yeah.
something that you wanted to do.
yes, but when I remember the feeling, what I remember is the feeling of that gate. This is the end. This is the exit.
Okay.
This guy's got a chopper.
That was like 100 meters. Mwindi in Africa.
Mafika.
Politician.
Nope.
Entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur. He's one of the funniest guys in the world when you listen to him.
God damn.
I don't know him personally, but I've met him 1,000 times.
Guys, if you wanna
I'm
be
too
hu-
small in his radar. That's
If-
another crazy gate.
If you want to be humbled, just take a drive through Runda. Obviously, I think us, we can get away with it because we have a camera. People are like,
Well, also, yeah, if they stop us, I know a lot of the.
to go na Kevo, we should not worry.
Not even that. Like, I mean, the roads. I know what is suspicious.
Look at this one.
That's a crazy gate.
This guy's gate has pillars. And these, by the way, these are imported trees, eh?
Probably. I think there's another guy, the chopper down here. There's a guy here who
This
has
entire
like,
podcast will be us just talking about houses in Runda.
man, that'll get me in so much trouble.
Okay.
I think the guy down here is like a chopper also.
So we had come to one of my sister's friends. She lives somewhere next to Lord Errol's.
So Lord Errol is down this road,
Yeah. So
but we're going
we're
straight.
going straight. When we had gone to just pick something for my sister when she came down, she was like, just go to my friend's house. She has something that I need you to collect. I was like, so I didn't think much of it. We figure the house, so there's the main gate. We press the security button. We're like, we're here to see so and so. We're here to pick up something. Then they're like, okay, the gate opens. 100 meters is the second gate. In the road, there's like a water fountain in the middle where you drive over. So there's water literally seeping through as you're driving over it. And then you reach the second gate, it opens. Bro, man, I'm like, this house is something straight out of MTV Cribs.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. We've got a lot of rich people in Kenya. And a lot of people think that they're all Kenyans. But actually, no. A lot of rich people in Kenya live in Kenya because Kenya is probably one of the best places to live in the world. If you
Insane.
travel the world,
Yeah,
turn left.
Turn left.
I mean, a property like this anywhere in the world, you're paying $3 million, $4 million. Here you get it for $1 million. You get UN security, right? You get a driver, you get a maid. Try to keep right. You get a driver, you get a house helps.
House helps.
You get gardeners, right?
Multiple security.
Multiple security,
Yeah.
and you've not even spent $4,000. Many Kenyans think $4,000 is a lot of money, But in the scope of the world, there are 10 million people in the world where $4,000 is what they pee in the morning. You know, it's like,
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
It's perspective, man.
it's like,
If you walk a mile in their shoes, you realize sometimes there's levels to this game.
yeah. So that's why we have the kind of wealth we see in Nairobi. It's not that all the wealth is made in Nairobi.
But people are rich in Nairobi.
Oh yeah. I mean, you go to any African city, other than Lagos and Joburg, maybe Cape Town. Where else do you see? Everyone else is you can turn up here. One of my favorite streets in Runda.
After the schools have very white names. Potter House School in a Harry Potter and team.
But that's not why it's called that.
Of course not. Of course not.
I'm just saying.
Sasa, we keep straying off topic. Let's not focus on the rich people. Let's focus on your journey. Tell me now. So you don't want to work with Mzee. You have a plan. You want to be an entrepreneur. You want to do something on your own.
Yep.
What happens then?
I mean, so I have an existential crisis. Actually, no. I get a baby. The baby changes my whole perspective on life. In fact, it's weird. As I told you, I have a new baby right now. So,
congratulations on that, by the way.
thank you. I was reflecting. The difference between the two babies is wild. The first baby, who is the love of my life, is now 16. Wild.
16.
16 years old, bro.
You don't mind asking, how old are you?
I'm 38.
What?
Yeah. It's wild, man.
You're 38?
I'm 38 with 3 kids and my eldest is 16.
So how old were you when you had your 16?
I was 21.
Legend.
21, 22, yeah.
Sasa Eric came on that podcast saying, what are kids? What's the idea of kids?
I listened to that and I was like, again.
You know, just because Andrew Kibe was there.
I was like,
But then you're telling
none
Bobby,
of these people have children, have no clue what they're talking about.
what do kids mean?
Yeah, it's like,
Ah,
and then of course Kibe's kids ask him only for things because he doesn't know how to show love, right? I mean, I was like, my children tell me stories, right? They'll come and, my 16-year-old will come and tell me the wildest stories.
So 16, boy or girl?
Girl.
So girl, 21.
Yeah. So my girl comes, she's interesting. So she comes unexpected. I paid more for her delivery than I paid for my current baby's delivery. And I was literally still living in my parents' house. I was earning 50,000 a month. I had no insurance. This time I'm a lot more ahead.
Yes.
Right? And by factors, you know. And I paid a fraction for her birth that I paid when my first one was born. But the difference is that this one was sort of like, we got married, we said we want to have a baby around now, right? And then the baby came, and then the baby sort of come at sort of like a good time in our lives. We're a little bit more stable. So it's weird how, so that was what was happening in my life. So I got this existential crisis. I want to take my kids to the best schools. I want the lifestyle I grew up with. I must at least deliver some of that somehow.
Yeah.
And so I said the only way I'm going to do this is become a businessman. And the only time you can become a businessman is now, because she was 2 at the time. If I waited any longer, it was only prolonging. Yeah. And so, as they say, the rest is history. So the first business I started was with a good friend of mine. We started lending money. We did very well. That's how I ended up getting the penthouse that I showed you. Drove a Mercedes Benz. I was single for 9 years. Loved my life.
That's the life we want.
And then I had my first real train smash. What happens in lending is if you have a portfolio, you normally have a security against it.
Correct.
Now, if the bank gives you the debt, so if the security then, say, comes into has an integrity issue, meaning it's not secure.
You can't back it up.
You can't know, it's not real security anymore. Something happens. Essentially the bank will ask you to do one of two things: either you bring other security, or you show up or you pay them back.
Okay.
So that thing that never happened to us. So we had to scale it down very quickly.
And so when you were lending here, you were lending to who? Like
Logbook loans. I'm like the third business in Kenya to ever do logbook
Straight,
loans. Yeah, straight.
that must have been a very popular business, eh?
Yeah, I'm telling you, we did pretty well in the beginning, and then when we had to shut it down, it went down really quickly.
So were default rates quite high that led to that?
No.
People not paying on time?
Just that the moment the money is like stock. So in lending, if you don't have money for stock, you don't have a business.
Yeah.
Right? So the security for our stock disappeared. It was taken away from us.
Okay, so then
So that was like the first like big punch in the gut. But at the time I was working on a digital lending idea, so that I was going to bring it into the business.
yes.
And we had gotten quite enough. So when I left, I basically just fundraised for the digital lending business, and the weird thing is I was involved in a corporate fight because I was a shareholder of a business on the stock exchange that was having a shareholder fight.
Okay.
And as a result, I was hanging around with a lot of wealthy people, and I was also having what was happening in my life happening. So they were also advising me on how to navigate. And the way I exited, so the guy then asked me, what would you do next? And when I told him I'd been working on a digital lending idea, he was like, I like that. He gave me $100,000 to start off.
So tell me more about this digital lending idea.
So basically, lending is 3 parts. It's KYC, turn right.
Know your customer?
It's fraud,
Yes.
and then it's basically collections, so disbursement and collections. What had happened by that point in time, this was about 2015, is M-Pesa was now ubiquitous. Our credit bureau had enough people on it to basically do a basic credit score.
Yes.
And then you had enough smartphones. Here you can choose actually. It's just sort of like an
Yeah. It's merging.
yeah, merge into each other. And so what had happened was, by this point, you had enough smartphones in the market that in that demographic where if they downloaded, they would have borrowed money and repaid, right? So it was perfect. And then so I was the third, or rather we were the third because we were 2 of us,
Yeah.
digital lending startup in Kenya. The first was Tala, the second was Branch, the third was Alternative Circle.
So it was called?
Alternative Circle. That's probably where you heard about me,
Yes.
because we raised $1 million.
Was this around 2016?
Yes. Raised $1 million, so we went quite viral.
I must have called the company at the time to ask about your data center requirements. when you were starting.
Probably. And by the way, the reason that business failed, part of the reason was I was not a technical guy. You know, me, I'm a lender. I'm actually an allocator of capital by training. So I know how to look at an opportunity and say yes, no,
Yes, no.
and then how to manage the risks.
Yes.
So that even if this goes down, you sort of are able to cover and hedge, right? And that's why Oye has lasted so long, because Oye didn't raise a ton of money, but I know how to allocate capital. So I knew that one, with Oye, first we've got to survive. Survival is a key ingredient to business. 2, we've got to get a product that gives us an outsized competitive advantage.
Okay.
And that's how we chose the Bodas. And then 3, once the thing clicks, we can run so fast that instead of fighting us, you join us on our...
So talk to me more about now, so that transition to Oye and what Oye did for you that was different to the previous businesses? Which
So Alternative Circle was, I call it my PhD. Because essentially I had gone through like a very, like if you think about like apprenticeships,
yes,
I had had one of the best in the world, because I'd started in a stock brokerage for a year,
yes,
learned how trades happen, how you put an investment memo together, what investors are looking at, ratios. And then I moved to like private capital management, which is a charma.
yeah.
I wanted you to see this gate. It's a really nice like compound here.
Look at this one. See, this one's.
I like this one.
Did we pass this one? Or this is
No,
another
this is
one?
a different one. So like this stretch is really nice houses on both sides, because they also do the gardens nicely.
Yo, that's Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
How many subscribers to afford something like this?
No, but boss, we will make it. We
Inshallah.
will make it. We'll make it.
Inshallah.
I want you,
Wish sama inshallah.
inshallah. I have an article I wrote in 2020 where I predict there will be 100 Kenyans who will be dollar billionaires by 2030.
3 of them are here.
Yeah.
Ama, if one of us gets
yeah. No.
we just
No. Listen, we are in the future. If you go to if you look at my social media for the last like 5 years, my hashtag is the future is here. I'm trying to tell the world, like, you guys are missing it. This is where it's at. So when you tell
it's
me,
a
Kevin,
game when we're trying to tap into all this money.
yeah, right?
XRP.
It's
XRP.
yeah.
Anyway. So
That's why you're in data centers, and that's why you're doing podcasts. That's future. You're not asking me to come to a radio station, right? And you're not selling me a server rack.
we're just seeing some casual Mercedes parked outside here. So we keep getting distracted by rich people.
Sorry. So Oye.
Yes.
So I've told this story a million times. Let me tell a different side. So basically, I find my purpose. My purpose is to ensure that I play my role in making Africa the most modern place by 2050. I do that in 5 ways: being a father, being a friend, being a good Kenyan, being a good African. But the thing that matters in this context is building billion-dollar businesses. Because when you look at the world history, big businesses are what transform society, right? And so if I'm going to make Africa, Kenya modern, you have to build the big businesses.
Correct.
So I focus on future-focused businesses. I look at what has been built. I find financial services. I've got a really strong background in financial services. I've got a crazy network in financial services. And who can execute better than me, right? So I put a small team together. I start putting a little money together. My old investors, which now this is what will shock many people, because what happens in Kenya, especially if you're Kenyan, black Kenyan, is if your business failed, you stole the money. It's a very sad thing. Or you. But my investors in my last business doubled down and joined me in Oye. So I had like 5 investors in my last business.
Yes.
I gave them an option. 3 decided to come along, 2 decided to stay out, right? But the point I'm trying to make is those that decided to come along understood the opportunity and understood the skill set I had built in myself.
What's here, bro?
Porterhouse. So
Yes,
we've just done the loop.
Down the loop, perfect.
I just go straight all the way to Gigiri and then we'll come back. How much time?
We can head back now as
Okay.
we wind down.
Eric is at the petrol station,
Which petrol station?
just next to his house.
Oh, Total.
So.
So let's go straight and then
Yeah.
we'll turn. Yeah. So then with Oye, the big idea was, how do I demonstrate that there's a $1 billion opportunity with the little that I have, so that then I plug in, which is now the exclusive I wanted to tell you, with an institutional investor, right? And then we scale this thing across the continent. And so it's happened,
Really?
right? So we've just got an investment from Britam. I can't disclose the amount, but essentially
Britain.
Yeah, and so essentially now we can expand into 80 locations,
Jesus Christ.
and we can acquire 1 million riders in the next 1.5 years.
Well, that's big.
That's why I said I've got a crazy exclusive for you.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
So give me if I'm a BODA rider, how do I sort of benefit from this aspect? Like, how does it help me? Tell me more about that.
So it's
From their
basically a
perspective.
loyalty point program
Okay.
designed specifically to the BODA rider.
Okay.
So we partner with merchants that BODAs typically have. So petrol stations, supermarkets, chemists, Safaricom, insurance companies. We've not touched the spare parts because that's quite informal still.
Yeah.
But mostly the formal parts of that. And if a BODA purchases anything from one of those merchants, they get loyalty points. Now those loyalty points they can redeem for everything, right? So the first thing that is guaranteed once you get to 90 points is a free personal accident cover.
Free personal accident cover.
Why we did that is we realized every time we'd have a meeting with BODAs, either somebody was injured, somebody was in hospital, or somebody could have died. Or you have to go left.
Straight.
It's also, I was saying straight and then we turn back.
South.
So that now you see
Yeah, sure.
the last thing I wanted to show you.
South. No stress.
'Cause we're almost done. Yeah. So you get to 90 points guaranteed. So that one you don't redeem. That one we give you for free, because what we're basically saying is we're telling the BODA rider, thank you for trusting us, because just for getting to 90 points means you've bought a considerable sum of stuff. Here is a free personal accident cover. If you have an accident, we'll refund you 5,000 shillings in hospital expenses. If you have a permanent disability, we'll give you 10,000 bob. If you pass away in the unfortunate situation where somebody passes away, we will give your family 25,000 shillings, right? Underwritten by Britam.
Okay.
And that's part of the partnership.
And it's just the points-based thing that they
Yeah.
do to accumulate that.
So-
in other words, it's their effort rather than their...
Yes, so it's your effort. Now, here's the kicker. Straight. Just go straight all the way, you'll see something familiar. And then we'll turn.
Sound.
The more you buy, the more data we see. So we are then able to offer you loans. Right, so right now we've got a daily fuel loan. You need 1,000 bob worth of fuel, just go to any of our merchants, go on our *693#, straight.
I'm just waiting for this guy to pass.
Oh. Is he driving badly?
He's a dipshit, whoever he is. He's just wanting to see what we're doing. You know, it's always I'm Levy. Sorry, so you were saying?
So you go to *693#. You apply for Songa na Oye. You have two options. You pick a single day loan or 5-day loan. Single day you get 1,000 shillings fuel, and the fuel is put into your tank. You don't get cash.
Okay.
5-day loan you get up to a full tank, so 2.5, because we believe you can sort of, you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in a way, you're sort of promoting that sector. You're sort of giving them incentives. If they're stuck in a bind, you sort of step up to help them. Right?
Yes. And then everything they do, they earn points. So you pay on time, you earn points. You buy anything, you earn points. We have an e-bike program. We're doing it so then the third product we do, which is still in like R&D mode, is basically we've partnered with the University of Oxford.
Yes.
To understand the question we're asking is, what does a BODA driver need to be convinced to buy an electric bike? So then just do the turn here.
It's the UN, yeah?
The UN and GS Embassy. Just to show you how, like, it's a really nice...
It's a calm drive, to be honest. I think most of the midnight runs...
So it's the next one.
Oh, sorry, here, yeah?
Yeah.
It's a calm drive. It's where most of the midnight runs, if we're ever confused of where to go, we can just...
It's safe.
Use this, and it's safe, and it's quite easy.
Good road, straight all the way.
So, I mean, congratulations, bro. That's quite a big step. But maybe a question on the the technology behind it? Are you using app-based? Is it a software that you've created?
So we've built all our software ourselves.
Okay.
So think about it as channel. We're channel focused.
Okay.
So what really matters is the channel and then how we operationalize the data we get.
Yes.
That's actually the two pieces that are important. And so everything else, if it means we buy, put together, we build, we sort of have a mishmash of that. But we own the channels. We've got USSD, we've got WhatsApp, we've got an app. And then the data analytics is.
And so are you hosting that internally? Are you hosting it at a data center? Is it
it's
cloud?
It's still cloud.
Okay. Cloud out of the country?
I mean, we get Amazon credits.
Yeah, the thing is, I think the issue with Amazon is most of their caching services still feed off South Africa. You won't see it now, but as your volume of traffic increases, there'll be a lot of latency issues, there'll be a lot of connectivity issues. That's when now we can step in and try and host and create a platform for you locally, where all your drivers, they're just pinging here, in country. No latency, no high bandwidth costs. Because the issues I've heard with AWS is at start, it's very cost effective, especially as they give you credits. But once it scales, it's not like a variable factor. And what I mean by that is, let's say, at a factor of 1, you're paying 500. At a factor of 2, you pay 1,000. At a factor of 3, you pay 1,500. With AWS, there's no metric. It's different metrics that increase the
So
cost.
we are very aware of that. But remember, we're building a startup. So in the beginning,
it's still.
what you're trying to do is you're just trying to demonstrate we have a viable business model, right? And can it scale?
Right? I think the thing is, you've tapped into a sector that's so widespread and so many businesses and verticals are dependent on that sector, and it's an incentive for them to enhance the growth. Inshallah, I think you guys are on the right step, man.
Yeah, we're building $1 billion business, and I think the point I was trying to make here was, one, Britam is a local business, listed entity, taking a bet on local entrepreneurs, and taking a bet on a local idea. So it's not like our idea was it has happened somewhere else in the world, and then they've come and said, you guys make the Uber for Kenya. No, it's like Oye was engineered, designed, birthed in Nairobi, and Britam, an innovative business in my view, because the balls, right, for taking a risk like this in our country is, I think, a testament of where we are going.
No, I agree.
So, there's been this narrative of the Muzungu, hire Muzungu as a service. It's true, right? If you want international capital, you may need international actors, right, or employees or Muzungus to then come and be in your business, because that's who the investor trusts. But if our locals are trusting locals, like Britam is trusting Oye, I think the future is here. This is it.
And I think one thing I can say is because of being exposed to a startup culture.
That's where Prophet Award lives.
Prophet Award lives there?
Yeah, that's where he lives. That one I can say my audience. I mean, the guy, when he does a big crusade, the number of cars around here. Jesus. I mean, they reach here. Just pop, 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 pop.
That's a massive property.
Yeah, it's huge.
Maybe that's so. Listen, inshallah, Oye becomes successful. But side business to find out what Oye is doing. I can say I found Christ. Eric and Kevin are now supporting me in this church. And then we do what he does.
You said something on the Kibe episode about what was that, Pastor Nganga?
That's I guess it surprised me in the sense that I wasn't aware that people could do that to those extremes. I know there are these church communities, international pastors who basically have taken the system to work. But in Kenya, I didn't expect it to that level.
But I mean, Shakaola was a guy telling people to go and starve themselves in a forest after giving the pastor all their wealth. I think and that's why it's important people like you and me do what we do, which is push the limits in terms of ideas and execution as Kenyans, so that other Kenyans have hope, because that guy, all they're selling is hope, and because no one else there's no one else selling real hope, so the only thing people can buy is false hope. The problem with real hope is that it's blood, sweat, and tears.
Yes.
Right? And blood, sweat, and tears means that, and it takes time before people see it. What we are doing in our different verticals is we're trying to build these massive ideas that will hire thousands of people, right? So that there's real hope. So people say, look at Sajid. Straight. Say, look at Sajid. Damn. Imagine this guy he bought a camera, he put it on a car, and now it's a thing. Every CEO, every founder, every influencer wants to do this thing with Sajid in a car, and they drive around places and they sort of talk about things.
Yeah.
Right? That's cool.
Hopefully we get to that place where this thing becomes, we can copyright it, India.
I think that you're being, and this is why I try and chap on my mentees. Forget the hopefully. Say you are, like, it's not, I don't know, our culture makes us be like, don't like, no, be like I like the Americans. Say it, man. Yeah, I mean, believe it.
You achieve it.
Are you gonna achieve it or not? I mean, this hopefully one day, some loser shit, man.
We've achieved.
You've got to be like, I am going to do it, and that's why I think I'll tell you a story. When I first said it on a podcast that I'm trying to build billion-dollar businesses, I got calls from family members. They said, first of all, do you know the kind of failure you're setting up yourself for? I said, I'm very well aware. But then I told them, but by the way, when I make it to that billion, they'll remember I told them.
Yes.
And then they'll be like, God damn, this homie told us, he went and did it. Now next time he tells us he's doing something. And that's the shift.
It's true. So I think it comes from a perspective of we want to be humble, but also you attract this energy of how you feel. So if you feel like you're unstoppable, if you feel like you already have the riches, you already have the success, you already have a business that's generating $1 billion, then it just comes to you, right? Like the book called The Secret.
Yeah, you've got to want it. You've got to want it. And you've got to tell the universe in a loud way that this is mine. This is and what I always tell my mentees is, don't even focus on the riches.
Yeah, that's right.
Turn that way. Focus, on the mission. What is it that you want to achieve? And my mission is make Africa, and Kenya in particular, the most modern place on earth by 2050. And how I'm going to do that is by building big businesses. So what I do is I build big businesses. Me, I don't know about you. But me, that's what I do.
You mentioned mentees. Do you coach and guide a lot of
many young people. Probably now in the hundreds.
Really, yeah?
Yeah, I love, my favorite, my tribe is I'm not Kamba, I'm not Kikuyu. Me, I'm capitalist.
I'm going to steal that.
Yeah. So if a fellow capitalist, Indian, Mwindi, black, Jewish, female, black, short, tall, and they come and say, me, I'm capitalist, I'll ask you a few questions, see if you're a true capitalist, because you see, just like if you come and say you're Kikuyu, we must ask you a few questions. Are you truly a Kikuyu? Yeah. Or are you telling me a Kikuyu because you know that's what I want to hear? Capitalism is a way of life.
And how long have you been doing that for? coaching and guiding?
I mean, I was very fortunate because I had my early coaches from when I was a young boy. So as soon as anyone asked me to be their coach, I started.
Which again is a position I feel a lot of young, specifically men I address at this point, but even women for that most part, are lost, and they just need to look up to people who they, rather than focus on like YouTubers and here and there, try and look within the vicinity where you've been brought up. Is there someone who's doing something that you want to emulate? And the best chance of you actually achieving that is, can I buy you a coffee?
Yeah.
Just 5 minutes. Be proactive with that. By the way, Eric is where?
The one next to my house.
Okay. So you have 2 new mentees, eh?
No, ask Eric. I mean, how do you think Eric is where Eric is? Right? He calls me all the time for advice. And now he's so good, I get advice about now media from him. It's him I'll call and say, hey, my digital strategy guy is saying this, and this. Does this make sense to you?
Yeah.
And he'll be like, yeah. Right? But I'm also the guy I'll call and he'll be like, I've been thinking about starting a podcast. What should I do? I'll tell you, I told him start.
Do you want to start a podcast, by the way? Is that something you'd consider?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would.
Given your network, more specifically around business, just business, you can call it the capitalist.
Look. What I don't know, what I have in my back pocket is I've got time, right? I'm not, the way I want to build my brand is not necessarily a podcast brand. What I want to build is something slightly different. I want a safe space for billionaires, right? So what I'm thinking is, and I see them doing it, but I don't know if you know, Carlyle Group?
Is it like Capital Club?
No. Do you know Carlyle Group? It's one of the largest private equity funds in the world.
Okay.
Their partner has a show. His name is David Rubenstein. It's called the David Rubenstein Show.
Dave Rubin, that the same guy?
David Rubenstein, so partner of Carlyle Group. That's the Benzo.
Where's the Benz?
There.
That car's too low. With Eric and my weight, when we sit in that car, we scrap by every bump.
I'm wondering why you really wanted to join us.
He's feeling left out. You know what FOMO is?
Yeah.
Fear of missing out.
Why doesn't he just go home?
Hey!
23 years I have waited. Someone,
So you
Good,
come
good.
say hi.
the one night I have liberty to go out again.
Why don't you come say hi? Watch out, we pinduka that way. Yeah, we're still shooting.
Should we enter and then you say hi in the compound?
So,
Because it's safer.
Mutiso, you okay? Good to see you.
That's because it's safer. No, yeah,
So, to bring you up, oh?
yeah, somebody could run away with your camera.
It's okay. We wish us a gun.
That's pointless. You know, why have a gun issue when you could just...
I'm joking, but Wish doesn't have a gun.
You know me, a lot of my friends have guns.
By the way, if you want, like...
No, I don't want a gun.
Dealer, yeah.
I don't want a gun. I think guns are...
What I'll say for gun safety is, think about, it's an ego thing as well in Kenya. If you ever get robbed and the guy sees you have a gun, the first person to go is you because you're a risk to him.
Yeah.
If you're using it, if you do find yourself purchasing a gun, my first recommendation is train with it. The IP certified pistol training academies here. Go to Kenya Sports Shooting Federation.
Yeah.
In fact,
I've even trained.
you've trained, you know
Of course,
everything,
yeah. Not know everything. I don't know everything. The one thing you know is that you know nothing.
you know they call me John Slick,
Yeah.
the slick version of John Wick. I'm lethal with a weapon, bro.
Yeah.
No, which is actually, by the way, there's a funny story. We had gone for a team building event.
Uh-huh.
So we're all there shooting, then there's a guy who does our thumbnail. He's called Jaskiran.
Mm-hmm.
He's a doctor, but part-time he does thumbnail designs.
Yeah.
This guy's gonga in bullseyes, bro. He's never shot a gun in his life. 5 meters, 10, 15, 20, 25, he's gonga in bullseyes. We're like, what the hell? naturally gifted guy. And if you look at the Jama, you're like, make a chapa this Jama.
Wow.
Is that a doggy?
It looks like.
Ah.
No,
So-
man, I've been, you know me, I've also been guns have been pulled on me many times.
Watch out.
I'm in business. You know, I'm a real Kenyan businessman. Like, I've done deals in Isili and it's pure cash. Right? Like, and it's not illegal. Like, we were moving phones. Right? And this is back in like 2008. I've done, I work with Bodabodas now. So I'm always like,
Is it true Bodaboda guys are controlled by cartels?
no, not entirely. Just go straight that way. Tuko pamoja now. Aya, go that way. When we go and negotiate with petrol station chains, because I'm a big guy,
Yes.
there was one guy in Nakuru who didn't know, he had never heard of Oye. He probably would never have heard of Kevin Mutiso, Eric Mutiso, because he didn't look like the kind of guy who's on social media.
Britannia?
Yeah, turn in here. And he just, you know, you could see he was holding his gun waiting to see if we came to rob him. Because his office was also like where I think his safe was,
Oh.
right? So he was very like,
Who are these guys?
who are these guys? Yeah.
Let's. Mutiso.
We go say hello.
He'll come say hello. The camera's on us.
Oh, damn.
Let him show respect. This is your younger brother. Can you see this guy? So you just engage the car.
Yeah, just enter.
For the drive to the house.
No, just enter in.
By the way, see, he can enter the car.
Yeah.
So my guy,
Hey, Selma, man. How's it?
not bad.
You enjoyed?
I'm having fun. I'm enjoying.
Can you see him?
Trust Kevin to go to the
Ebu.
No, I was not even. That was not my idea. That was his.
Bit tight.
It's okay. You're a 6 foot tall guy. Can you see him though? You can see. How are you doing, bro?
Selma, man.
You
You get that?
mannerisms.
It's bigger.
No, I can just tell the way you chika. But this guy seems like we can have a lot of fun with this guy.
Yeah.
This guy is a type. But we had a good
You
podcast.
enjoyed, nice.
Kevo has a
Sajid
wealth.
also vibes, eh?
Yeah, Sana.
Which thing? This? Kevo has a wealth of information that he shared. He's given me some big news. I'm not sure if you've told him the big news.
No one knows actually.
So I'm the first guy.
Well, after my family and the business.
Okay, so that Christmas dinner, that means I'm invited as well, yeah? Because if
Are
this
we
guy
still
doesn't know...
taping?
Huh?
Yeah.
We're still
Okay,
taping.
okay. What's the news, man?
So we just raised some money from Britam. It's our first institutional investor.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, well done.
So we have enough money now to scale into 80 locations across the country.
I'm happy for you, bro. I'm
So
genuinely very
moving
happy for you.
from like 35,000 customers, hopefully we get to 80 locations could get us to 500,000.
Wow.
That's big news.
That's more than 10x.
And that's first on Midnight Coffee Run.
Well done.
It's an exclusive.
Exclusive.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you coming on, bro.
Thank you.
First of all, I think the first 20 minutes we spent it in this compound, just going around him showing his stuff. This one, by the way, this is a very different. We were just driving slowly. We went all over Runda. We saw the
By the
places.
time I recommended my bro, it's because I know.
This will be
Because I
good.
know, man.
So we'll be sour.
But Loderol was his idea.
If I was so bougie,
You know, I was like, oh my God, they're gonna think I'm so bougie. Because me, I was going to take him to Gigiri Courtyard.
that's still bougie.
It's, I mean, it's less bougie.
It's more. You know, I've come to Nairobi to save the world with my startup idea.
Yeah.
Crowd.
Okay, dancer gave me a visa, bana. So like, if Kevin is shooting, you guys can hang out. I have a visa till 3 a.m. You guys.
Till 3 a.m.
You can go for coffee.
Me, I'm hungry though. Can we get something to
Hey,
eat?
today it's nyamcho, man. I still
Me, I'm hungry.
Kevo, I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you. Thank you for this.
Loderol was a bougie place, but coffee's
I mean, Lodero is also steeped in history, which is something I love. So I'm not embarrassed by it.
I enjoy. Can I be honest with you? I'm going to do another midnight coffee run. Just that whole rotation we did,
Yeah.
just to remind myself how broke I am, and to also show. I think when we do the midnight coffee run again, we get a camera that shows the place, so then we can show Jugu motherfucking guy, and that 30K motherfucker, that there's more to life than your comments. But I appreciate you taking the time, my guy.
Thank you.
First of many.
No, of course. I think this is the future. The future is here.
I appreciate it, bro.
Future is
And
here.
also on the tech side, I need you to come to the data center.
Yeah,
this
tell me, yeah.
this Jama's been to the data center. He's seen
Did he
it.
even understand anything?
Yeah, they give you a tour, guided tour.
Okay.
Yako itakuwa complicated kidogo.
Yeah.
I'll use harder language. For Eric's is this, you know that video game console you play? Yako itakuwa
and I
technicality,
need to
plug
know,
sets,
yeah.
PDUs.
Yeah, exactly.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next episode.